Hello, everyone. So it's Coach Carol coming to you today to talk about Emerson Eggerich's book on love and respect. I love this book, and I want to talk about respect. And is respect enough to restore your marriage and to make it absolutely amazing? So my husband and I separated after 26 years of marriage, and we were headed for divorce. And with particular skills, I was able to turn it around. And so I really want to share the rest of that story because I actually had been teaching this program. You can see all my notes, everything that was in here, for 5 or 6 years in a women's prayer group. Loved the book. Like, we all absolutely loved the book and got quite a bit out of it, right? Like, but it's interesting how many women stayed in that group for that long. And we would go through this book. We would watch his videos. We would work through it, and it touched us. It empowered us. It gave us awarenesses about how, for instance, respect is so important to a man. Like, love for a woman. You know, like if a man said to me, my husband said to me, you know, gosh, I respect you, honey. That wouldn't quite hit my heart the way when he says, I love you, right? Well, it's interesting how Emerson talks about in the book, for a man, for him to hear, I respect you, is even more powerful than saying, I love you. So it's like a complete reversal, but that was a great eye-opening awareness that I got when I was studying that book. And how he talks about how marriage started back in Genesis, and that it was God's desire that marriages be amazing, that he commanded, really, you know, a man to love his wife and a wife to respect her husband. It's biblical. It's powerful. Love it. And, you know, he talks about in Ephesians 5:33, I want to read that to you. Each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Wow. Right? So it is based in scripture. I love that about his program. Love and respect are primary needs for us as individuals, and very different, like male and female. And he makes the distinguishing using colors, right? The distinguishment about pink and blue, right? So kind of on a scale of pink or blue, you know, are you a pale pink, or are you a hot pink, like a really girly girl, high maintenance, lots of makeup, jewelry, all that kind of stuff, right? Like, there's no judgment about where you are on that scale. It's just like who you are. And even as men, being like light blue to dark blue, like navy blue. Like, my husband is a man's man. He's all man. He is definitely dark blue. Or maybe a man might be more in the middle and kind of a purple. Like, you know, he's not as much of a get your hands dirty and, you know, change the oil, work hard, that sort. Like, might have more on the emotional scale. So it's interesting, anyways, how he does that, right? It's just a very useful analogy to kind of gain some awareness around the differences between men and women, and respecting those differences, rather than so often in society we make men wrong, right? That we're just flat out that you know, men can't, we bash them, right? We bash men. They can't meet our emotional needs, yada yada yada. They're not, you know, all that stuff that goes on that is not what we're about, and it's not what's going to make a marriage successful. And so Emerson's able to give some tools around that to begin to respect the differences. And he talks about how when we are disrespectful, it's like standing on an air hose. Like, if there was an oxygen mask to your man, it's like standing on that and kinking it so that he's not getting the air that he needs to breathe and to be alive in your relationship. So that was a very powerful tool as well, a powerful awareness. And I love how Emerson really gives us a new approach to marriage, because sadly, too many marriages, even Christian marriages who are Bible-based, right? Like, we know the commandment to love one another as God loved us, and yet we fail over and over, and marriages continue to end in divorce. And so I love that he gives a new approach to that. So it's a great program. And he talks about how, that that marriage is a place where God puts us to learn how to love sacrificially the way Christ loved all of us, right to the cross. So I love that about his books, But here's the thing. Even after studying that book for, 5, 6, 7 years, interestingly enough, it wasn't enough. My husband and I still ended up separated and heading for divorce. And there were women who came to our group who left the group quickly after one session because they insisted that their man was not respectable, that what he was doing was completely respectful, and that there was no way that they were going to practice this until he changed, right? So I get it because I was there too. I completely had my finger pointing at my husband that when he changed, when he made more money, when he paid more attention to me and the kids, when he was home more, when he, right? That's when our marriage was going to get better. That had me heading separated and for divorce. So what happened was during that separation, I found a program that completely empowered me with the rest of the puzzle pieces that Emerson's is just one piece of that. The respect tool is one very powerful piece of that, but there's 5 other pieces that he's missing that really a woman needs to be empowered. And one of the things in his book he talks about is how, will men decode and figure out what a message that the woman is sending. And I can remember talking about that with my husband. He didn't have a clue. He didn't know how to decode. If he knew how to decode, we wouldn't be in this problem. He didn't know how. And frankly, even though I read the book, I was still unable to navigate through those hard times when we didn't have money, when we were just flat out broke, and there was, kids and fees to pay for activities or whatever. Like it was hard, right? And so that I naturally fell back to what a lot of women do. We end up angry and resentful, and I definitely was there. I didn't know how to navigate all that, and asking my husband to work through it with me and to do another workbook, do another program. It's like when we asked him to go to counseling, and my gosh, his eyes would roll over like, you've got to be kidding, because sitting there for an hour complaining about him or trying to finally get him to realize what he needed to do to change things, it never worked. We came out fighting even more. And even when I would try to do the workbook with him and get him to do the exercises, I might get him there for a while, but before I knew it, he was on the couch with his eyes closed and he was snoring and then I would get mad because he wasn't engaged, and that meant that he didn't care. Instead, what I've learned now is that really, when a wife is empowered with all of the skills, there's 6 of them, as I said, that she has the power just by changing herself to change the whole dynamic in the marriage. What happened for me is that when I got off his paper, so to speak, so remember when you were in school and you were told, don't look at the desk next to you, you have to do your own schoolwork, right? Like you can't, that's cheating if you're looking at his paper and your eyes are over there. Keep your eyes on your own paper, right? So when I learned to keep my eyes on my own paper, focus on me, what do I need to do to change me? And when I started to find my joy again, practicing self-care and the other skills, what happened was my husband changed too. It was a miracle. But things started to change, and he didn't have to do any workbooks. He didn't have to go to counseling. And I was resentful at first, thinking, well, wait a minute, why do I have to do all the hard work? When really, again, it was all about just owning my own power, and that I had the ability to make the best in my relationship or the worst. I could make him happy. I could attract him like a magnet. I could make things great between us, or I could bring out the worst, and I could bring out an angry man. And that, it wasn't always pretty in our house, right? I had the power, and owning that power and learning how to work that power was something that I did. And I became a marriage coach because of it, because women are missing these skills. They're missing all the puzzle pieces that they need. my mother didn't have these skills. My grandmother didn't have these skills. They all ended up divorced, actually multiple times. That there's things that we're not learning. They don't teach it in grade school. They don't teach it anywhere in there, right? And so if we don't get it from our moms, the women that I was working with at the time all said, gosh, you know, you've tried so hard for so long. He's a nice guy, but it ain't working. You deserve better. Go find somebody else, right? Because they didn't have the skills either. And what I want you to know is that I'm on fire about empowering women with 6 intimacy skills that truly, I see it over and over, is saving marriages. For instance, I have one woman, a client who had been married for 40 years, and really they had lost their sizzle, and they were just tolerating each other. They were squabbling a lot. He was watching the news all the time, which drove her bonkers. And they were just always kind of on edge with one another. The intimacy was gone. The connection was gone. Well, after working with me as a coach, that I'm so happy that she told me at the end of our sessions that she felt like she was in love again, more so, both of them did, than for years and years. And they felt like honeymooners again, and they were really enjoying one another. That was a major victory, right? And then there was another young couple. All right. So the young bride had come to me and said that, gosh, you know, we've been together. It was maybe 18 months. And she said that he was in his man cave all the time. And that he had actually told her that he didn't imagine that they were going to be together forever. And yeah, no kids. Like, he was really detaching and staying away from her. And by working on the skills and coaching her, he was out of the man cave. They were going on dates all the time, and he was buying her special treats, and they were in love more than they had been in a long time, and that they were definitely back on track for having a family, and that he was saying how much he really loved being with her all the time. So that was a victory. I was so happy. I get so excited working with women like, oh gosh, let me tell you this other one. So a client who divorced her husband after he had an affair, right? Oh my gosh, like that was a no-go. She wasn't doing it, divorced him, and started dating, and found a man that she was going to marry, and swept her off her feet. It was a fabulous romance, and everything was awesome. And then it crashed, and she realized that she really loved her ex-husband, and that their son, who was, I believe, 4 at the time, was really missing daddy, and the brokenness. And she really got clear on her vision for an intact family, and on working with me, and so happy that she restored their marriage. She attracted him back better than ever. It's amazing the things that have happened. He's no longer going out with old buddies and doing the party scene anymore, and she's happier than ever, remarried to this man, and has that dream of having daddy back for her son. Just so many victories. Like, I just absolutely love working with women, and as I said before, I really do. It's so awesome to see the victories, you know. And so it takes a woman being willing to be humble, and to look at herself, and to point that finger, not over there at him, right, but right back over here. And so that's what I teach in my workshops, my classes, and in coaching. So if that's something that interests you, or if you know people who are struggling in their marriage, I want you to know that there is another way. Divorce is not the answer. There is completely another way to handle all of this. So, you know, follow me, and subscribe, and stay tuned. I am going to post a link for you to actually grab a PDF, a little information sheet about the 5 mistakes wives make when trying to attract their husband's time, affection, and attention. That there are mistakes that we make that we can change, and we can get our marriages back to being wonderful. But anyways, thank you. And please, you know, type your comments below. Any of the sharing or the comments, it actually helps to pick up things in the Facebook feed. I really want to be able to, like I said, to reach more women. All right. So have a great day. And until next time, be happy. Take care of yourself and be happy. All right. Love you all. Bye-bye.